Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRFBets race of the day for Monday, February the 18th. Kentucky Derby qualifying points action, graded stakes action at Oaklawn Park. It's the Grade 3 Southwest, carded as race number 9. If you subscribe to a DRFBets account, you get to double your action. You bet $100, you get $100. That's your sign-up bonus at bets.drf.com. Let's take a look at this full field of 3-year-olds, hopefully taking their next steps on the road to the Kentucky Derby. We're going 1 mile and a 16th. $500,000 is the purse. You can access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with me. We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with arguably the horse to beat. The number 1 Gray Attempt just beat 5 of these common foes in winning the Smarty Jones, the first leg in the Arkansas road to the Kentucky Derby. And Gray Attempt did it in his first start around 2 turns, where there were some questions as to his distance capabilities. Now, I'm not sure Gray Attempt completely answered those questions. He was able to make a fairly easy lead in that race, and with the short stretch of the mile at Oaklawn, he was just able to hold on by a neck over long-range Toddy. He's going to now have to stretch out another 16th of a mile, and there is another speed horse in this race, in the number 5 Jersey Agenda, who might push Gray Attempt a little bit harder in the early portion of this race. Gray Attempt is a talented horse. There's no doubt about that. He's won his last 3 races, 2 of them in stakes competition, but the further they go, I'm not sure if Gray Attempt is going to be as effective. I think he's a contender in this race. I wouldn't want to take too short of a price. The number 2 is 9th Street, one of 5 entrants trained by Steve Asmussen. And 9th Street last time out ran second in a 2-turn sprint race at Delta Downs, the big drama. He got a good setup. There was a fast pace going on that day. 9th Street came with a good solid run, and he finished second to 6 Shooter, who's also in this spot and who also might have benefited from the quick pace up front. 9th Street could certainly improve in his second start of the form cycle, and he's paired up Buyer Tops in his last race, which often is a good indicator for another forward move, but he has raced 7 times, and I wonder if he's a bit exposed. The number 3 is Cutting Humor, going out for Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez, who won this race with 1 liner back in 2017. Cutting Humor is a $400,000 son of First Samurai, and you get the feeling when you watch him run that he is still learning. Pletcher put blinkers on him for his final start at 2, a 2-turn race at Gulfstream Park West, and it was a rock-solid win. He scored by 2 lengths with a 74 Buyer. In his first start at 3, he was in and among horses at Gulfstream going into the first turn. John Velasquez got him to the outside, and John had to keep him motivated. He was hand-riding him, urging him to stay into the race. He made a 3-wide bid into contention at the quarter pole, but the favorite, Bourbon War, was able to just split horses turning into the stretch and outfinished Cutting Humor. All in all, I thought that was a really useful learning race for Cutting Humor, who is a half to a stakes-winning dirt router named Irish Uel. The mile and a 16th, I think, is going to be just fine for this horse, and Cutting Humor might work out a good stalking trip in behind the speeds. He fits at this level. The number 4 is Boldor, who sold for $700,000 as a 2-year-old in training, and is another in the Asmussen Armada. This is a horse that ran 3rd in the Smarty Jones in his first start of the year, but he was up close to the pace, and I kind of thought he had his chances turning into the lane. I'm still concerned about distance with this horse. His sire Munning's a crack sprinter, to be sure. Boldor is a half to the stakes-winning sprinter Avarice, the multiple stakes place sprinter Fly E Dubai. I wonder how he'll do going 1 mile and a 16th. His tactical speed should put him in a good spot going into the first turn. Jersey Agenda, the number 5, also trained by Asmussen. You don't see many sons of Jersey Town sell for $250,000. Jersey Agenda did. This horse has a turfy pedigree, so no surprise that he made his career debut at Kentucky Downs. The dam's a full sister to the 3-time Grade 1 stakes-winning turf horse Risk Averse. She is also a half to the Grade 3 stakes-winning turf runner Cozy Corner. But no fears about dirt for Jersey Agenda, who was a perfect 2 for 2 on the surface and looked really good winning a now winners of 2 life last time out with an 84 Buyer speed figure. He's fast. I'm not sure he's as fast as Gray Attempt, but I would expect Ricardo Santana Jr. to have this horse forward, pushing Gray Attempt in the early portion of this race and attacking on the turn. He should be in prime contention when the field swings into the stretch and is a solid contender. It's probably too early to give up on the number 6 Super Steed, especially if you thought the Smarty Jones was dominated by pace horses and it was very difficult to close. Super Steed is by Kentucky Derby winner Super Saver. The dam is a half-sister to Arkansas Derby winner Danza, as well as Majestic Harbor, who won the Grade 1 Gold Cup at Santa Anita. So this is a true distance pedigree. Super Steed just didn't do any running in the Smarty Jones. Perhaps he was compromised by pace. He should get a better setup here. I still want to see one. His best race has come on a sloppy track. That was an 87 buyer. He hasn't come close to that number in his other 3 starts. An intriguing invader from Southern California is the number 7 Sueno, coming in for Keith DeZormo. And this horse's dam was a multiple stakes winner, going a mile on the dirt, and Sueno ran really well last time out in the Sham, a race that's produced not only 2 next out winners, but the winner of that race, Gunmetal Gray, came right back to finish second in the graded Robert B. Lewis Stakes at Santa Anita with an 82 buyer. Not bad for Sueno, a horse that began his career in 2 maiden claiming sprints at Del Mar. It appears this horse has found what he wants to do, that is distance. He is improving incrementally with each and every start, and it appears he has enough tactical speed to work out a mid-pack trip. Sueno is another horse that wouldn't be a surprise, and he might get lost in the shuffle somewhat from a wagering perspective. I think a long shot that you should keep an eye on, at least on the bottom of exotics, is the number 8 Six Shooter. We talked about him taking advantage of the pace and the big drama, but that didn't happen for him in the Smarty Jones, and trainer Paul Holthus is going to try to add blinkers, and I understand why. In watching the Smarty Jones, Six Shooter just seemed to run in spots. He was in a very fine forward position going into the first turn, tracking the pace in the second flight while in between horses, but then he just dropped back into mid-pack. The rider had to start moving on him on the turn. It looked like there was no response, and then the light bulb came on. Six Shooter advanced inside, altered course outside, came with a bid, and only got beat a length and a half. Maybe the addition of blinkers will allow this horse to run a more complete race. He should get a fairer pace setup this time around, and he is going to be a price. Keep an eye out for Six Shooter at a good mutual. The 9 is Bank It, a New York bred that sold for $260,000, and just strange past performance lines for Bank It. A horse that showed big speed sprinting earlier in his career, and ever since they've stretched him out, he's become a closer. Usually it's the other way around. I needed Bank It in the Springboard Mile 2 starts back, a race in which he didn't break very well, ended up last on the rail turning into the stretch, and he had to weave his way all the way through traffic, only to drop a heartbreaking loss by a head to Long Range Toddy. He was the beaten favorite in the Smarty Jones, and let's be honest, he didn't do much running, but he, like Super Steed, like Six Shooter, might have been compromised by the lack of pace up front. I think it's fair to give a horse like Bank It another chance, especially since it'll be a much bigger price this time around, but like several others in this field, I'm just not sure if a mile and a 16th is ultimately going to be his best game. I think he'll be better going shorter. If you're looking for a consistent horse, there's probably no horse in the race that's more consistent than the 10 Long Range Toddy, who had a 3-race win streak snapped in the Smarty Jones. And while he was up close to that moderate pace in the Smarty Jones, Long Range Toddy tried to squeeze through a narrow opening down towards the inside and mid-stretch and just couldn't get past Gray Attempt. Maybe he was just a little bit intimidated being down in tight, and now he draws outside in post 10. Usually it's not a great draw with a fairly short run going into the first turn, but this horse has enough speed where I think he's going to find a spot sitting 3rd or 4th, no farther than 3 wide out on the track, and he should be given every chance turning into the stretch. He's consistent, as I said, and he's probably going to give yet another good effort for Asmussen. The 11 is Olympic Runner, shipping in from Florida for trainer Mark Cassey, and this horse began his career going 5 furlongs on the turf, and he won last time out in an off-the-turf race. No surprise that they wanted to get this horse on turf. He's a half-brother to the versatile, multiple Grade 3 placed runner Sammy Mandeville, and the second dam was a multiple graded stakes winner on the turf. Her name was Pleasant Temper. Olympic Runner went gate to wire last time out at Gulfstream, and we should give him some credit. He was stretching out 3.5 furlongs in only his second lifetime start, but I thought the track at Gulfstream that day really favored horses that were able to get to the lead and get down to the inside, just like Olympic Runner. So now he's stepping up in class. He has to deal with a ship, and he has to deal with a far outside post as well. I'm really curious to see how David Cohen plays the break with Olympic Runner. Does he put this horse on ascend and potentially get involved in a protracted pace battle with both Gray Attempt and Jersey Agenda, or does he try to teach Olympic runner a new trick and have him come from mid-pack while wide on the second turn. Either way, I'm not comfortable with Olympic runner as he's stepping up in trip and distance. Let's take a look at my top selection for the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes. I'm going to go with Cutting Humor in here for Todd Pletcher. I think he's learning, and he's figuring it out. I think he's found the right spot. I realize Pletcher probably didn't want him at Gulfstream where the killers are right now. No one at Oaklawn has yet to really distinguish themselves from the pack. If you don't believe in Gray Attempt, I think the distance will be fine, the pace scenario will be fine. I'm going to go with Cutting Humor on top. I also want to use 6 Shooter, who I think will improve with the addition of blinkers, but I'm going 3, 8, 1, and 5 in a really fun edition of the Grade 3 Southwest Stakes. It's your DRFBets Monday race of the day. You can play the race with a DRFBets account, and you can double your action just by signing up. Bet 100, get 100, ready, set, bet. Approximate post time for the Grade 3 Southwest is 6:08. Best of luck.